All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Racha, Kodesh. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And basically, I wanted to do this lesson as we've been seeing lately. There's been a lot of tensions between opposing sides, and I was reading a few articles this morning, and you can just notice, a whole lot of division, between people because of, this whole situation going on over there. It's like here between Israel and Gaza, or Hamas, I should say. Basically it's being used as a catalyst as well, to push other factors in society, such as the GRA, the Great Reset agenda, because as a result of what you're seeing, they're finding means to justify the further, shutting down of free speech and expression and so on and so forth, right? Because just as matter of fact, let me actually bring out this article here real briefly, and then we'll go into some further stuff on here on that. And when I say division, this is an example of what I'm talking about. So this is an article from ZeroHedge.com, right? It says here, fan tells Dave Chappelle to shut up. Comedian blasts Israel, sparking walkout, report says. And pretty much, through the article, it's you have, I think Dave Chappelle, which he's a famous comedian. He was basically, let me see if I could just find a part that summarizes it. Okay, it says here, the People said Chappelle criticized Hamas for the October 7th attack, but also denounced the Israeli government's bombing of Gaza, as well as the U.S.'s support for the war effort. So basically, because as he was mentioning these things, people started getting offended, in the crowd. All right. And you had some of them that were basically, as the article goes on to read, some audience members cheered Chappelle on and shouted "Free Palestine," while others yelled, "What about Hamas?" The attendees said. Some in the crowd got up and left. See? Toward the conclusion of his show, he said of Israelis' policies and the Hamas attacks that two wrongs don't make a right, the People said. See, and this is just an example of how sensitive, people are to this situation over here. So when a person makes a comment that can be perceived as pro one side or pro another side, you're going to have people that are either on one side or another. And prior to this going on, you may have had people that were friends that probably, stopped being friends and became like enemies over this situation. Okay, but all in all, it's another aspect of the cause of division, which the Lord said would happen. It's all a part of prophecy. And as things get more and more desperate, because if people are coming against each other because of their take or their feeling or their opinion as to what's going on over there in the East, and I'm giving an example of like people here, right, in the West, in the U.S., and if they're ready to go at each other's throats over that, what do you think? And that's enough to cause a divide. What do you think is going to happen when famines hit and maybe there's only one food bag left, one maybe enough to feed only one family, and you got two families over there that maybe have been working together, since shit hit the fan, and now it's up to, there's only one bag left. They don't bring out another supply drop until next week. So whose family gets this? If people can be, this divided over a situation like what's going on in the East, how much more when it comes down to, when it hits home, when it comes down to a situation like what I just described. And that's why the scriptures say what they say. Real briefly, let me actually start off with that. Let me pull this up real quick. And that's why it's also very important to watch, because as you watch, all these prophecies start to make more and more sense. Oh, this makes sense why people are going to be doing this, that, and the third. All right, this is 2nd Ezra chapter 6, verse let me just start at 18. And it said, behold, the days come that I will begin to draw nigh, and will visit them that dwell upon the earth. And that's basically also the same thing that's mentioned in 2nd Ezra, the 9th chapter. Okay, but when the Lord begins to visit the earth, it's not going to be with peace, because the earth has not been righteous. Okay, it's being ruled by the wicked, and therefore it has a wicked vibration on it. Verse 19, and will begin to make inquisition of them, what they be that have hurt unjustly with their unrighteousness, and when the affliction of Zion shall be fulfilled. Because ultimately, the ultimate judge is Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. So starting from the Most High through Yahushai, they get the last say. They're the ones who bring the ultimate judgment down. It doesn't matter what people on the earth agree to or think. That all pales, okay, when the Lord makes that final judgment call. Verse 20, and when the world that shall begin to vanish away shall be finished. Okay. Then will I shew thee these tokens. The books shall be opened before the firmament, and they shall see altogether. Now, the books being opened represents the scriptures. But remember, it says that in Isaiah 29:11, right, all the vision has become like a book that is sealed. And when it says sealed, in the physical sense, when a book is sealed, it actually has seals, like straps that are clipped in. There's some designs that you'll see where there are actually some books that are locked, and you got to like have a certain key to open that lock, and then you can unstrap the seal and then open the actual book. Right? So Isaiah 29:11 says, and the vision of all is become unto you as the words of a book that is sealed, which men deliver to one that is learned, saying, read this, I pray thee. And he saith, I cannot, for it is sealed. So, yeah, I know how to read, but I can't actually read the book because I can't even open it. It's sealed, right? So when you go back to 2nd Ezra 6, the books shall be opened, meaning that we're gonna be able to we're gonna give the understanding, okay, of basically the whole book as we're doing now. And it's going to be open before the firmament, meaning that it's going to be broadcasted throughout the world. The reason it says before the firmament is because there are devices today in the firmament that allow the transmission of this message to go out throughout the whole world, okay, for this understanding to be spread throughout. And that's by way of the internet, okay? And they shall see all together. Yeah, everybody's going to start to basically see, and starting with the elect, obviously, are going to see and understand what's written in here, okay, which goes into those prophecies. But this is going to happen, as it says, when the world that shall begin to vanish away shall be finished. And that's Esau's world. So we're seeing that now. So the fact that we're out here prophesying and bringing out this knowledge is also an example that this place is finished. Verse 21, and the children of a year old shall speak with their voices. The women with child shall bring forth untimely children, meaning that you're gonna have kids speaking literally at a year old. They're gonna start speaking early. Okay, and it says the women with child shall bring forth untimely children of 3 or 4 months old, and they shall live and be raised up. Yeah, and that's because in the ancient world this wouldn't be possible, but today it is because of the technology they have. All right, so if you have a premature baby, they have technology that can sustain the baby and still allow it to live and grow up and all of that. Verse 22, and suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown, the full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty. Now here, okay, is where the trouble comes in, right? Because now the full storehouses where the food and supplies are found empty. People become desperate. And the trumpet shall give a sound, which when every man heareth, they shall be suddenly afraid. At that time shall friends fight one against another like enemies. So it's going to get so bad. The division is going to be so steep, so deep. People are going to be so desperate that they're going to be fighting against each other. And if you came in the middle of that fight, you would never imagine that these people were at one point friends or on the same side. And this goes for family members. It goes for best friends. It goes for all of them. And the earth shall stand in fear with those that dwell therein. The springs of the fountain shall stand still, and in 3 hours they shall not run. All right, which is representing those droughts, water shortages. Of course, the storehouses being found empty also emphasizes food shortages. Okay, but the point here is that at that time, friends shall fight one against another like enemies. Okay, and you can see that, right? That if divided opinions can cause such tension in the world, how much more for actual desperation when it comes to life or death, either you or me. Who do you think is going to want to sacrifice themselves or their family for somebody else? Okay, now I also want to get this here. This is 2nd Ezra chapter 9, and I'm just going to hit the point on here because this is also another sign that was mentioned in here, right? 2nd Ezra chapter 9, verse 3. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, which we've seen uproars of the people in the world, and we continue to see it, but it's the reasons for people getting into an uproar are starting to become more and more, I don't want to use the word dangerous, but more and more intense. Then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. So when we see these things, guess what? Our mind goes back to the words written in the book. Oh, that's this. Oh, that's this precept. Oh, that's an example of that. Oh, that's going to lead to this precept. So when we see these things, it makes more sense, the prophecies that we read about, because we're starting to see, okay, this is happening here. This is happening here. This is possibly going to lead to this. These are the steps they're going to take in order to bring this out or do this. Okay. And at the same time, I was reading another article that was talking about how Salakia, it was talking about how they're using this war to push the Great Reset agenda still. All right, especially coming against free speech and all of that. All right, so people that have one opinion or support one side over another are at risk of either being fired or losing their jobs or losing certain opportunities or whatever the case may be, being blacklisted, all of that. Okay, so this is exactly what they're doing, and it's causing that division, and it's causing more and more tension between people. So at this point, when all hell breaks loose, you can see why there's going to be the scriptures say the love of many shall wax cold. There's going to be no hospitality. There's going to be none of that, because people are going to be desperate. They're going to be divided, and they're going to be afraid, and they're going to do whatever it takes for them to survive. Okay, so definitely, as the scriptures say, redeeming the times, for the days are evil, meaning that you got to be circumspect and remain in prayer and faith, because that's really our only assured protection in these times. Okay, we're in the times where you say the wrong thing and somebody could take your life. All right. So anyway, with that, I'm going to end it here. Lord willing, that was edifying and informative to the elect. We're going to watch and see, what happens. As the Lord said, watch as well as pray. Okay, but we definitely are close to the fulfillment of these last few prophecies. So with that, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachak, Wadash. Until next time, Shalom.